Welcome everybody. Welcome to Krav Stuff. We brought on board Shannon McNeil. Shannon McNeil is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for what, 15 plus years?
It's been a while. I think we're getting close to, I think it's 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started training here when I was, when you were over at the other location, when I was like 17, so I'm almost 30 now.
Yeah, tell that story real quick.
When I started training with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you just got your license, right?
Literally the first thing I did, so leading up to me getting that driver's license, I'd been on your guys' website, I watched some videos you guys had online. I think I had called and harassed your head instructor at the time like 2 or 3 times, and he was probably getting annoyed with my questions. But I wanted to train martial arts for years, so I got my driver's license at 17, and the first thing I did was like the day after I got my license was drive down and sign up. So yeah, it was like the first thing on my list.
That's awesome. That's dedication right there. That's wanting a goal and achieving that goal and just going for it. I love it.
Yeah, man.
So currently now you're the owner of Gym Leads, right? Tell us the journey. Tell us a little bit about what Gym Leads is and like your journey to get there from maybe like, when you were working for me, and just give us a quick little recap on that.
Yeah, okay, where to start? So it actually goes back a little bit before I started training with you. So when I was a teenager, I started a screen printing company. So I was doing like t-shirts and stuff in my parents' garage. I actually started out in my bedroom. I convinced them to let me like remove my bed, sleep on the floor.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so
that's so dedicated.
Dude,
I love it.
Well, and I had parents too that like they rooted for me with everything I did. So they were always huge supporters. My dad owned his own business, so like the entrepreneurial thing, he's like, this is awesome.
So you had seen entrepreneurship in person. You'd lived with it. You'd seen what it was about through your father.
Oh yeah, good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is all that.
Yeah, because he started out, he was a manager at, it was Can-Do Electric over in Chihuahua.
Okay.
And so when they had their heating department, he was the manager there for a long time. And then when the owner of that sold, he had the opportunity to either buy the business or go out on his own. And so he went out on his own. And I can't remember how old I was then. I mean, I was probably like 8 or 9 maybe. And then he did really well with McNeil's Mountain Air, but it was just a lot of stress. So I got to see that side of it. And then going through 2008, Stevens County, I've heard somewhere that it was one of the top, or one of the 10 poorest counties in the nation during that time.
During the crash of 08.
Yeah, and so that was the economy was rough. So I got to see that side of it for him. But he's always been like you got to put your boots on every morning, And so I grew up with that. And then, I started the t-shirt thing, and within like a year or two, we pretty much dominated the market in that small town. We had all the local high school sports.
Really?
We had the fair, yeah. And then I was like, well, I got to figure out how to make this thing bigger and better. So I got into like the online marketing stuff and how to build a website, how to run ads to it. So that was before I actually...
You taught yourself this, because there was no AI back then. I mean, Google was in its infancy. It wasn't what it is today, or was it? I mean, it
was... Facebook ads really weren't a thing, I don't think, when I started. Yeah.
Okay. So just grinding, just figuring it out.
Yeah, I took some courses online. I think I took like one college class.
Yeah.
I hadn't finished high school yet, but I took a college class, and it was like, it was probably one of the lesser informative ones. But I actually got into Russell Brunson's world at that point. And so one of my first, I would say, coach or mentor in marketing stuff, Christian Fioravante, he worked directly with Russell over in Boise.
Out of Boise. Yeah.
And that was before ClickFunnels. That was before...
Oh, so before that. Because I remember when we first got hooked up with what you're doing right now, I was like, hey man, I'm reading this book about Russell Brunson, is it .com?
.com Secrets,
.com Secrets. And you're like, oh dude, I'm reading the same book. And so that was one of those moments where I'm like, okay, you're on the same wavelength that I'm on, right? Like you're there, right?
I think it was Gary Vee's book too. Like
Jeff Cross.
Yeah, man. Which is crazy to think now, to see how much things have changed for both of those guys. I mean, I mean, the amount of growth. I've gone to a bunch of Russell's events and gone to a bunch of his stuff. I've never I don't have like a personal relationship with him, but more on the sidelines, just watching how much he's grown. It's crazy.
Yeah. So so that got you into to the marketing, because you had to figure out you want to blow up your business, and you knew that it was going to be online. So you just figured it out, took some courses, and started building that.
Yeah, the funny thing was it went from me trying to grow the t-shirt thing to helped a couple friends with their websites, other businesses and stuff for people that I knew. And then I started making more with that. And so it was kind of like, well, I still did the t-shirt thing for a while, but got more into the marketing stuff, mainly like website design and basic advertising then, some SEO. And then from there was kind of a big transition. So I went from, I started trained here for quite a while. And then when I moved to the Valley, I moved to Lewis and Clarkson Valley. I was still doing like MMA and jiu-jitsu. I did a little bit of 10th Planet and Gracie jiu-jitsu over there. Was wanting to be an MMA fighter and get in the cage and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then, I mean, young kid, I went through a bunch of different stuff, but ended up back in Spokane working, sales for you.
Yeah, that's when you came on board and helped me out with sales at the old place. Yeah. That was it. That's where when you kind of talked to me, you let me know when you were coming on board, like, hey, I have this thing that I'm wanting to do. We could talk more about it later, but basically you were telling me like, at some point in time, you're going to bounce, and totally knew that, right? And I was totally comfortable with like, hey, I watching you and the choices that you've made. I mean, it's been fantastic. That's why I love to hear the story.
Thanks, man.
So continue from there. So you're working you're working for me.
Yeah, I was here 6-7 months. It wasn't too long.
No,
and
it
then,
wasn't too long. No.
Yeah. Then I think when I was working a couple different jobs, and I was just moving more and more into the marketing stuff. And then when I saw that, I think it was a Facebook post you put up.
Oh yes.
And it was
the SOS that I put out.
Yeah, because you were launching cryo, and basically, if I remember right, you had the gal that was helping you kind of bailed
because her boyfriend broke up with her.
That's right.
Yeah. So I decided to open up 509 cryo inside of Krav Maga Spokane, because I saw with my condition that I have how much cryotherapy helped. Yeah. And then I saw Joe Rogan had his own cryotherapy tank, and I was just like, bro, how do I get my own tank? Yeah. So there's the entrepreneur. I'm like, okay, let's open up a business, let other people pay for it. It worked out well. So she was creating the website for me, and then literally like within a couple days of launch, she's just like, hey, I can't finish it for you. I'm just going through some stuff. My boyfriend broke up with me and just dropped me. And so that's where I put out the SOS on Facebook, and then you responded.
Yeah, and we met up I was literally at a Starbucks coffee shop on the north end when I saw it. I texted you.
I was there with it, yeah.
It was like 30 minutes. We were sitting down for coffee.
Yep.
And man, that was a fast turnaround, because I remember we built out the site. We went and filmed filmed out videos for your whole funnel and ads and everything. And we launched that thing. I want to say it was within a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember.
It was fast.
Fast. Yeah.
And I was client number 1, right?
You were the first client. Yeah. And I remember you telling me when I started, you're like, hey, if things go okay with cryo, I remember what we talked about with Krav. I'll consider bringing you on for that, if things go well.
And we brought Krav on how long after?
I think it was within a month.
It was.
It was pretty quick.
It was. I was like, yeah, you're gonna take over Krav now.
Yeah. And then I think we started, I don't know if we rebuilt the site right away. I think we waited out on that.
Yeah, God, I think I had a WordPress. I think I created my own WordPress site, and it wasn't good at all. It is what it was.
It worked
right?
well.
It worked. It worked. But then when I saw what you did with cryo, I was like, oh, okay. Please take care of this for me.
Yeah. I think the big unlock, because I remember I still have that original testimonial you gave me then. I think it was a 4 times increase in leads or something with Krav within the first month.
Yeah.
And because I don't think you had really run Meta ads or Facebook at the time.
No, I was doing billboards and handing out flyers on cars and parking lots.
You were doing Google. I think you were doing Google ads.
Did I do a little Google?
I think you had a gal that was doing Google ads for you.
That's right. Monica from I got hooked up with her from Krav Maga Worldwide. So yeah, we were doing TV ads. Yeah, I forgot about that. We were doing TV ads, and then I think she did a little bit of Google with that. Yeah, she was out of San Antonio. Forgot all about that.
I remember because I was still working as a salesman there when I talked to her once, because I was like asking her questions, because like the big unlock for me, and this is like, again, like total thanks to you and that opportunity of working sales, because I think I saw a side of the business I'd never seen. It was the huge issue with lead flow. Like I remember going through that list of leads we had like 3 or 4 times in a week, and I was like, we just need more lead flow.
Yeah.
So I remember talking to her over the phone. I was just like, what can we do to get more? And it was the same issue that we still have with a lot of Google stuff. It's like, a lot of it's limited to search volume and all those things. And so Meta was like, Facebook ads was the way to do it. And dude, you went all in on that. And then I think we 4X'd. I think you actually reduced budget. You reduced budget by cutting out Google, going to Meta, and then we like 4X.
Which is always good. That's
a good feeling, right? Yeah.
It's always a good feeling. Yeah. No, and so, yeah, I mean, we've kind of been tied together through Krav and Cryo ever since.
Yeah.
Right? But recently, we're coming back together, starting a podcast here, and yeah. So your mastermind. Went away from Krav, I went through Gym Launch, I went through Joey Huber's FitBiz University. And then unfortunately last year we had to close Cryo, but I had transitioned to a different brand there. And so then we kind of come around, because we've always still been in contact. You've been just taking care of the website. But then recently we had our mastermind, right? And like that for me, man, your evolution from when we, kind of parted ways with the ads, and then we're still doing the website, and you were always there to help out with that and offer little bits of advice. And I always love the conversations that we have, right? I think entrepreneurs don't talk to each other enough.
That's so true.
I think we sit inside of our, the saying, it's lonely at the top is so true, right? When you're the head of your business, like, there's really no one else to turn to ask certain questions. Like, you can turn to your spouse, but they're kind of like you in a way, right? A reflection of you. But to talk to other entrepreneurs is where you actually see like, oh, you're experiencing some of that too? Oh my God, it's not just me, right? Yeah. That's a huge thing for entrepreneurs. But so I love those conversations, man. It's always been great to have someone to just unload on, and someone to just listen to, and then they unload back. I mean, that I always advise, have someone that you can do that to, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, 100%. And I think you're right. Like, there's the entrepreneurship journey can feel very lonely. And I think a lot of it, like we were talking about this at the event, it's like a lot of it's the Seth Godin dip, right? It's like you have the uninformed optimism when you start something and it's exciting, and then you start to get to that informed pessimism where like you start to see the hard part of things and like the reality of the struggle to build something that's worth anything. And then once you kind of go through that cycle, you kind of come up on the other side of like looking at things completely different. And a lot of people get that shiny object syndrome. They jump from thing to thing. You're one of those guys that has not. You've been focused. You've stayed in the game. I mean,
appreciate that.
You've been here, what, 17?
We're coming up on 17 years in business.
Yeah. Which is like statistically, I think we looked up the stats. I think it was like less than 20% of businesses in the US make it that long or something.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Interesting, but yeah.
It's wild, right? Because if you think about it, like you go through this whole cycle, and like now you're in this position where you have all of this experience. You know the levers you can pull. You've pulled so many levers with different things moving and trying in the business to where you start to see the effects on the other side. And then that's where, like we were talking about, instead of it being like a checkers game, it turns to a chess game. Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking for the one move that has the most benefit. I want like Russell talks about, the one domino. I want one domino I can knock over, it knocks over the rest. And that's where you start to get that knowledge and wisdom to be able to make those moves. And you're at that point now to where, man, like you've got this opportunity. So many people with the economy and all this stuff going on in the world. It's like now, very few people that have done what you've done very few of them are still in the game. And now all of these new guys popping up, they're just starting that cycle.
Yeah, when you put that in, so I wasn't with you for a bit, and then you put on a mastermind. You put it on here in Spokane, right? And beautiful house, awesome spread. It was just really, really awesome opportunity. And that's when I sat back, and after those couple of days, I was like, dude, this is he's Russell Brunson now. He's Alex, right? And I know that's a lot to throw on you, man, but you are, dude. Like, you have learned so much about this industry and about how to get quality leads, which is the hardest thing for a gym owner to do, right? It was just so awesome to just see that growth, man. And because you learn it, and you learn it so well, that like the statistics that you bring and how you taught us to use AI properly, and just all these little things that you're just like, I would have never thought of that, right? That's when I was just like, I told the wife, I was like, we got to get back with Shannon, right? And all these little things, these little nuggets of wisdom that you put upon us is just, it was such a great moment, because hey, the economy has been rough. It's been rough for the last 2 years, right? Yeah. And those gym owners that say, oh no, man, everything's going great. Like, you're full of crap, man. Yeah. It's rough, right? Yeah. I mean, after 17 years, I think I know when it's rough and when it's not, because I started in the kind of the upswing of the 08, 09 crash, right? Everybody thought I was nuts for quitting at my career job at Avista to start what I'm doing now. But yeah, so to come back on board with you, Matt, it just feels like the right time. It really does. And so it's just a testament to the hard work that you put in, So, but yeah, so the gym leads, when did you go, when was that pivot to where, you're taking care of websites, you're doing, ads, to this brand of gym leads, right?
Yeah, man, you'll actually appreciate this. So do you remember when I did the Fit Excel thing? It was like the Fit Excel brand.
Yes. Okay.
And I remember, I think you were one of the first ones that I showed it to, and you were like, so Excel, is that like spreadsheets? And I was like, instantly, I screwed up, right? And so
Accelerate is what it should have been, but
right, Fitness Accelerator was that was my idea. It was like Fitness Accelerator. Nobody got it. You weren't the only one. Like, I found that myself in that conversation so many times with different clients and leads, and I was just like, we got to change this. So I wanted the gym leads thing for a long time, and I still do not know who the owner of the domain was, but he hadn't used it since like 2001. Or I think he purchased it in 2001.
So it was a currently owned
domain, and I tracked him down through a broker. It took a little over a year of a process to get to that point to where we actually had the conversation. And I remember I made an offer on the domain, and he was just like, let me know when you're serious. I was like, okay. And then it was months later before he would even acknowledge anything. And I was all through a broker, so it was a little harder for me to, actually have that conversation, right? But we eventually did it. I spent way too much on the domain. It probably worked out fine. I had an offer actually on the domain 3 or 4 months ago for about 4 or 5 times what I spent on it. So
really?
It probably is fine, but it was just it was the first time I've spent that much on just a name.
Just a name. I spent a little bit on a specific name. That's for a different story, a different day.
You know how it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah. So that was a fun process, but yeah, I went with Gym Leads. It just says it in the name. That's the basics of what we do. The mastermind that we, spearheaded this year, the Gym Owner Collective. I wanted something that was like that you guys could be proud of, that it felt like a community that wasn't like, gym leads. Something that you can your members can see you wearing the hat or the shirt or carrying the notebook, and they're not like, so I'm just the lead to you. I didn't want that because there's always that weird, thing about that. I think Gym Owner Collective, I think it turned out really well. I like the branding part of it.
I like it. It's polished. I like it.
Polished, yeah. Kept it simple.
No. And so what's your reach? How many states are you in? What's your spread across the country? Because you're based in Oregon. Yeah. You were living in Florida for a while. I was a little jealous while you were living back down there. Yeah. I had my short stint in Florida. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Florida's great. When COVID hit, I was living in Idaho. I was living over in Coeur d'Alene. They're just right over the border, right? But I've stayed mainly in like that Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area for a long time. Liberty Lake, I lived there for a while. We actually filmed the first podcast me and you filmed together when I melted the camera.
Yeah, we melted your camera. We'll never see that again.
We'll never see it. It's like the lost footage. It's like 2.5 hours and that was so much fun. That was like a
blast.
great podcast.
I had such a good time with that. That was awesome. So sad that it got destroyed.
Yeah, so for anybody listening, basically we recorded this podcast and it was amazing. It was a longer podcast. It was the first one I think I had recorded. I had been in the background of some, but it was the first one that I was like hosting, and I didn't think
that was a Lions. Sorry to cut you off. The Lions. What was the name of it?
The original idea with it was I wanted the lion in the room, but I literally the first one, and I felt so bad about that because it was the most fun I had in a long time. But then also it was just amazing content. Like we had such a great conversation, and then I melted the camera, and you left before I even noticed that. I go to check the camera and get everything going so I can get the file on the computer, and it's just like.
We'll recreate it. We'll recreate it again.
Well, I think we kind of did at the mastermind.
That's true.
Trying to finish
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay, so based in Oregon, what's your reach, man?
Man, we're nationwide. We've worked with a couple gyms outside of the country. We had one that was like
outside of the
Romania.
Country?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we had one that was like, I think it was Romania. So we worked with them for a while. The funny thing, because I was like, well, we'll see how this goes with English. The gym owner was actually from the States, but had moved over there. And then they actually had a pretty decent sized English population. He only wanted to work with English speakers. So it worked out great because he would basically just, maybe it wasn't Romania. It was a country like that though. Anyway, Canada, we've worked with Canada, a couple gyms up there, but mainly the US. Yeah. And we've been coast to coast. We've worked with well over 200 6 and 7 figure gyms at this point.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's a feather in your cap.
Yeah. It's being in the. Let's see. So when did you come on? That was 2017, I think. So we're August of 2017. So we're coming up on almost 9 years in business. I'm doing my math. I built up a huge team. I didn't like it. We had over, I think, 11 or 12 full-time people at one point, and they're just like, those kinds of things. A lot of people in this industry really have those big dreams and goals, and for me, it was like I get the most fulfillment out of seeing guys like you just thrive and explode. Like for me, there's nothing more exciting or fulfilling than being a part of like a business that's been here 17 years, and then seeing the decisions and moves that you're making right now at that stage in business, to where it's like there's like that fire that's still there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's always ups and downs, but it's like we're basically starting several like the podcasts and stuff that's like going to launch you into like the next couple of years dominating the Spokane market.
Holding you to that. It's on tape.
It's on tape.
It's on tape.
Contract. Yeah,
on tape. You can tell my age. It's on tape. It's
on tape.
But dude, that you just hit that right there. Your passion, like you got a little emotional at the mastermind, right? Because I was at a stage where I'm like, hey, if this economy continues to slide and continues to go down, like I'm of the mindset, like I've worked too long, too hard, burned through a whole bunch of savings to take a loan out to continue on with the business, right? Maybe it's time to just pack up shop and head out, right? And just go and just figure something else out, And you were like, bro, you're not done. You're not done, right? And the things that you showed and the passion that you give, that's where the connection's at, man. And that's where I was so excited to come back on board, to have that support, right? Because I've worked with different companies. I'm not going to name them, but I've worked at different companies, and the support is not there. The passion is not there. You're a number. You're in line with everybody else, and that's fine in certain aspects. But you do give that personal touch, and that is so important, especially when you're at a point where you're like, remember I told you, I'm like, bro, I thought I had tried everything else, right? I was like, dude, I've tried everything. I've done gym lunch. I've done this. I've done this 6-week challenge. I've done blah, 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 blah. I go, I don't think there's anything left to do. I'll never forget it. You said, I think you're going to be surprised what I show you at the mastermind. And so I told the wife that, and I was like, well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And it was like within that first day, I was like, holy shit, man. Wow. Wow. And just your attention to detail with what you're doing, right? I don't know if I want to call it a product or an industry or whatever it is, but your attention to detail and how you have learned so many things, that is what's just super impressive, man. Super impressive. Like you've put in the time, the effort to study, to know your industry inside and out, and to know, like you have more acronyms. You had more acronyms that first day that we need to know, that I was just like, wait, what is that one? right? Writing all those down. But you're going to show us how important that is, right? And that's, like, this is a hard industry, right? Gyms is a very hard industry. If I'm not mistaken, I think restaurants is one of the only harder industries to kind of start up and be successful in. Right?
Yeah, depending on what factors you're looking at, it's definitely one of the harder ones.
It's there's so many different components to it, and if you want to continue on, you have to learn and adapt, right? Yeah. I can't sit back and be boomer bracing and complain that things aren't going well, right? Yeah. Because if I do that, well, I'm just going to keep digging myself down into a hole, you know?
Yeah.
But that's where having someone else to go, hey, just take a look at this. Look at it from this perspective, and peel back the layers of the onion to get to the root of it. That's what's so awesome and empowering, man, and so exciting. And so, yeah, man.
I think the one thing I could summarize a lot of that stuff down to that we covered at the one breakthrough I think I wanted the room to have was was being able to separate the emotional side of it from the reality of from the reality of your situation or the reality of your market, the reality of the economy. Because like we talked about, it's like, I kind of use the example of like, you either feel like you're Chicken Little or you're, Buddy the Elf, right? You're either running around saying sky's falling, or you're Buddy the Elf, it's Christmas and everything's fine. There's that constant emotional roller coaster with the business. And then when you have a couple of off years, it always feel like you feel like you're kind of leaning on the one side a little bit more. But like being able to strip that stuff away and just trying to get clarity and looking at like actually what's happening, like in your gym with your numbers, in your area, in your market. And the one thing that I've always given you props on is like, you are very good on the finance side of it. You're always very, attentive to those things. Some people aren't, I've seen, like I said at the event, I've looked under the hood of a lot of gyms, and it's like I've seen the mess that like the ticking time bomb, and I've seen it go off, Ooh. And so I think at the event, the one thing that was really fulfilling for me to see was like seeing like you and John and Jolene, and just seeing that like the aha moments, the clarity, and being able to like kind of, Maslow's hierarchy, you're getting up above that survival mode where you're just focused so much on, because that's our natural thing. When things are tough, we got to protect the business, the bottom line, all those things. Yeah. So,
And then it's like, why? If you can drop a few grand and start a podcast, not a lot of folks are going to want to do that, right? But that's where that trust comes in.
Well, then it's the strategy behind it, right? Because like a lot of people would be like, they'd see the podcast thing or they'd see some of the other stuff that we talked about, and they're like, it wouldn't click. But when you look at the big picture, like we're looking at the psychology and the strategy of like, how are humans humaning? It's like basically, how do they make decisions and think?
Oh yeah, I mean, and that ties in with what I teach. I mean, we're all human beings. We're all going to attack in a similar way. There's pre-fight indicators across the world in a similar way. There's so many things. Watch how human beings move, how we communicate, right?
Yeah.
Well, a high percentage of it is nonverbal, right? Yeah. And so if you can just dig down on that, like I tell people, just watch people. Just watch how they move. Just watch what they do, right? And you'll learn so much about us, right? We're creatures of habit. We are 100%, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that part is where it's like, okay, the trust, right? Because you've gained the knowledge, and all these other entities that I've worked with, where they come from, the base behind it, right? And so it's almost like you've seen so much. It's like, gosh, I wish I could give a good example of just, I guess maybe sitting back and watching everybody else, learning how it works, and then taking the bits and pieces and creating your own, right? And it's almost gotten you to where, as you did that, in my opinion, you've ascended above some of the others.
Thank you, man. That means a lot.
And that's but that's a fact, man. And that's just, because I've experienced it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm so excited for this ride that we're starting, right? Well, let me ask you this. So I was talking about how you're just a great person to talk to, and you've got all the answers, and you help with like, bro, I know it's tough right now, but if we do this, who's that for you? Because you have that on your side too, I'm going to guess. So who is that for you, and what do you do?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I mean, I've invested multiple six figures into coaching and masterminds.
Believe it.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I've met, and you know, I have, like my buddy James Smith, I met him at a mastermind years ago. And then we actually were coaches in a mastermind group for a while together. But he's a guy that I can call anytime, and he can call me anytime. And like, he was one of the guys, you know, one of my groups for my wedding. Like, that, you know, we're friends. He actually was one of the ones that convinced me to move to Orlando, because I was going to move to Tampa, and then he's like, check out Orlando, and then I found Bruno. But anyway, so those types of relationships I've been able to make. There's a small handful of people that they play at such a bigger level than even I do, but I could text them right now and have an answer. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
That you get from those events. And like, I mean, you probably made some connections at the mastermind where it's like, you know, there could be some cool things networking wise and stuff.
Yeah.
And so just trying, like, over the years, that's happened more and more and more. But and then also just working with coaches at really high levels. And it's like, it's not just the business side. You know, the saying of like, it's that old saying, I say it all the time, you don't have business problems, you have personal problems that are affecting your business.
Ooh,
I remember the first time I heard that,
I should write that down.
It's a good one to write down. The first time I heard that was actually right before I started this. This is 2016, 2017. And through a course that I was going through. And I was like, I know that if I'm not working on me, then I'm not going to be able to grow past those levels. There's always going to be a ceiling that I'm going to hit. So like a lot of the coaches and stuff that I've hired and paid ridiculous amounts of money to, they've been people, it's not always just business of it. A lot of it's like, you know, getting past emotional stuff or trauma or whatever, you know, like trying to become a better person. So I think that's the thing, is like mastering yourself is a huge part of it. And I grew up in a, you know, like a Baptist Christian homeschool group where that's just weird. Like, you don't do that. You know, that's what are you trying to do? Like, make yourself better. I was just like, well, it's kind of crazy to me that you wouldn't want to become a better person. But so that's been a huge part of that. And there's everything that I do today. It's like, I think like the connections that I'm able to make with people is just because a lot of it's like getting to know myself better. You know?
Yeah. I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need those connections. You need those. If you think you're going to do it alone, you're going to crash.
Yeah.
You know, not to say you won't be successful, but you're going to crash. You're going to have those moments, right? And if you have the right people in your network, in your circle to pick the brain of, or just to can you just let me just spill my guts for 30 minutes? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome to hear that you know that, hey, I still got to work on myself to keep my business going, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on. Yeah, you got a lot going on. I mean, the wife does sourdough and for bakeries locally. I mean, you guys are both entrepreneurs. I think that's fantastic too. So, is there anything? You got anything else big on the horizon, or is you're like, hey, this is I'm drilling down on this. But I mean, is there anything else cooking in the oven for you?
I mean, there's a lot going on that we're working on with like AI stuff and everything that we're going to be implementing for you guys. But like, you know, there's everything that anything that I have going on, like the little t-shirt stuff, like we're printing stuff out of the garage. I've got a couple little brothers that are, you know, we're in a small town. They live 20 minutes away or so. It's like opportunity for them. Passing along, yeah. But giving them an opportunity, but that also helps clients. I mean, it's not like a money maker for us, but it's like we've got a ton of clients that have had a hard time finding shirts. So it's like one of the best ways to market yourself. It's like, well, I did that for how many years? That's an easy add-on. We'll just do that in the garage. But that kind of stuff is just, it's still supporting the main thing, which is gym leads and gym owner collective. And I think the gym owner collective kind of encompasses it a little bit better because it's like that community piece. It's like what you were saying about, having, those connections and people. There's the saying of, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I think a lot of people look at that as like, oh, I got to build this big business. It's like, no, it's your network. And not like network in like a weird network marketing way or anything. It's like, it's the relationships you have with people that you can call on, Like what happens with, like I remember we had a conversation about a gym owner that you've known where it was like, everything was always great for him. Like he never shared any of the bad stuff.
No, never shared any bad stuff. Everything was always rosy and perfect. Yeah, even through COVID, I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
Really, bro? Okay.
It doesn't, right? It's like, we know that that's not the case.
Yeah, we know it's not true.
And so that guy's only going to go so far, right? And maybe he'll be fine. There's some, with his personality and stuff. I don't know him personally, but maybe that's a defense mechanism of some kind or something. Maybe he's just trying to posture and put out the, a good front for the business and get it seem more, which is good. And I think you have to have that client facing, but like, what about the stuff? There's always equal and opposite pros and cons to everything. When business is going amazing, there's still fires. There's still things.
Oh, yeah,
there's still like, if the business is just growing like crazy, you probably remember the times where you were like, you're working crazy hours, you're dealing with team fires and stuff that you wouldn't when things are a little calmer. So I think it's being able to have that community and those people where you can actually have those honest conversations. Like at the mastermind, one of the guys was like, hey, is it cool if I bring my manager to my team? I was like, to be honest, I wouldn't bring them just because I don't want you to ever have that voice in your head of saying like, oh, I can't share that, or I can't say that. I just want to be the owners in the room. And so having that is huge.
Yeah, love it. Well, if there's someone watching that wants assistance with their gym, how do they find you?
Yeah, I just go to gymleads.com. You can always book a call with me through there, or find me on Facebook or Instagram, shoot me a DM. But yeah, I'm any gym owners, like we've worked with, martial arts guys, bodybuilding gyms, CrossFit. We've worked with kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, like you name it. Basically group fitness, I would say, is kind of our some sort of class group model to semi-private, or our PT model is kind of our bread and butter. So always happy to talk to other gym owners and
love it.
See how we can help.
Love it. All right, closing. What's just new business, new gym owner? What's the best piece of advice? And I know that's probably pretty hard to nail down, but like, what would you say? What's the best piece of advice, like getting started out?
Someone just starting out?
Yeah, someone just starting out. Like I want to open a gym. Actually,
I'll drop a little game here. Okay, so if you're just starting out, so we just helped a gal in Denver, Colorado, or outside of Denver, Colorado, in Golden, Colorado, last year.
Great place.
Great place. I love that. Love that area. I had known her for a while. She had managed a couple different gyms that we'd worked with, and she kind of went out on her own for a couple years doing PT and stuff. Reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm going to start my own gym. Like, what do you think, and what do I do?" And this is like early 2024 when she starts thinking about it, or I guess it was like fall of 2024, and then 2025, she's like, all right, I found my building, I signed the lease, we're doing this. She had 120 members within 60 days of sales before her grand opening.
Before her grand opening? Wow.
And the play was simple. So anybody watching this, what you do is you start pre-sales at least 2 months before grand opening. Now you could have classes going, you could have services that are, people can participate in, that's great. But if you don't even have that, you just have like a building you're building out or painting walls or whatever, like give them a tour of that, whatever. But run a wait list campaign. The cool thing about wait list offers is, and we've done these at different phases throughout, when you moved and things like that. But you create a wait list because let's say you run an ad for it, you join the wait list, get first access to founding member specials, that kind of stuff. You're gonna get really quality leads, low cost, but there's like not a big commitment, right? It's not a big promise in that offer. It's not like 30 days free or something. Like they're just joining the wait list. So as soon as you give them some sort of offer after that, like, hey, if you wanna come try a class or come get a tour, it's still something special and exciting, but it's really low barrier. So that crushed for her. It's crushed for, you know, a handful of people that you even know too.
Yeah.
So if you're just starting out, I would just run something like that, and I would sell like crazy and fill seats. Like, go all in, get your EFT up as high as you can, as fast as you can before that grand opening, because your grand opening and any reopenings or rebrands or anything like that, that's always going to be the most exciting time of your business, and that's always going to be where you're going to get the most excitement from the community. So,
Like it. Take it to heart, folks. Well, dude, it's been a pleasure to have you on the initial podcast of Krav Stuff.
Dude, it's an honor to be here, part of this. When you emailed me that, I was like, oh, that's amazing. I mean, like, I really do appreciate it. Like, seeing you invest into this and do this, like, this is huge.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, this used to be the Normatec room for my cryo business, which is on the other side of that wall over there. So, by the way, we're inside Krav Maga Spokane. That's what's dope, right?
That's the mural right on the wall right there?
Yeah, we've got we're inside a training center. So, yeah, because I remember I was like, oh, dude, where am I going to put this? Where am I going to put this at? And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you have a giant room that's not being used. So, you know, this is one of those, like, you know, it sucked to close cryo. It was a bummer, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's given me this opportunity. So, yeah, it was a pleasure to have you. And
it brings your focus in so much back to Krav, I think. Krav Stuff, man. Like,
yeah.
This is your core. This is what you do.
No, yeah. Cool. I admit it. Cryo was like I wanted my own cryo tank, right? And so as an entrepreneur, I was like, well, let's just find a way. And it just didn't work out.
Well, think about all the things you learned through that. You know, and the business lessons and connections that were made. And I mean, you guys sponsored Spokane Shock. You worked with UFC fighters.
Yeah, we did. We
really
worked
cool
with
stuff.
the local soccer teams here. So yeah, it was a good time. It helped me. It helped me with my condition. You know, but when you're not making money and things are tight, hey, you got to be able to walk away, right? What is that in heat? Got to be able to walk away in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally, after I ran the numbers, I walked upstairs. I told the wife, I was like, we're closing cryo. She was like, wait, what? I was like, yep, just ran the numbers, it's closed.
And see, that's that chess move, or the chess move versus the checkers move, right? Like, you could make that decision without a bunch of, I mean, it sucks, but it's not like the emotional, you didn't draw it out for 2-3 years thinking, knowing those numbers and being like, I can't do that.
No,
you know?
Numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so stoked, though, to see everything else you're telling me you're going to do in here today.
Yeah, I'm excited. A little bare bones right now, but this is it, man. Super excited.
It's taking shape, though.
Super
it's
excited.
looking good.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Cool.
Sweet, man.
Dude, that was fun.
That was awesome.